Hey there, KBR dudes. It's Teage Allen, host of The Beard and KBRD's Dirtbag Father. It's great to have you all back in. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. This week on KBRD, we're actually going to pop out a new podcast. We had the host of this particular podcast on the second episode of The Beard. His name is Menelik Tafari. He's one of the smartest dudes I know. He's also one of the most compassionate and loving people I've ever met. If I was going to give a socially conscious podcast to anybody, this motherfucker's the guy. So I hope you can enjoy a podcast with more than 4-letter words, like fuck and shit and stuff. And I hope you enjoy this episode of A Better Place. Oh yeah. You know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of A Better Place with Menelik Tafari.
Welcome to the first episode of A Better Place, the only socially conscious podcast on KBRD. I'm your host, Menelik Tafari. I'm an educator and community organizer, co-founder and director of staff development for Shared Change, and your local middle school teacher. I teach Spanish, human development, do all sorts of different things, but at the heart of all my work is making the world a better place. Trying to change people's beliefs and attitudes to transform their interactions with others. Because when it comes down to it, on your deathbed, the only thing that really matters is your relationships to others. So, on this podcast, we want to focus on one thing, and one thing mainly, and that's spreading positivity. Some of the guests on our show will be educators, community organizers, social movement activists, friends, and most importantly, family. Because that's what we're about. KBRD is family. So, with that, I'd like to welcome our first guest, the Dirtbag Father of KBRD Productions, host of The Beard, and host of Podcasts at the End of the Universe, Teage Allen.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey man, just having a good night.
You're a natural at
this process.
You're good at this. You're the fucking man. Look at you over here. You got this. You're better at this than I am. I've been doing this for like 2 weeks longer.
Whoa! I don't think.
No. It's good. That's good.
Well,
I'm glad we have you, buddy. I'm glad that you're here. You are the only socially conscious person I know. So, I mean, it made sense to have you. But I'm glad you're fucking around. I'm glad you're around. So what do you got for us tonight, man? What's on the docket?
So on the docket. So at first I was thinking that I would love to have a conversation about food, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of feeling, you know, before we put on the microphones, we were talking a little bit outside about philosophy.
Yeah.
And one philosophy in particular, Taoism. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to start off, you know, hearing what your background with Taoism is, and then I'll share mine.
Okay, for the majority of it is I've always been one of those kids that I'm a middle kid. Got younger siblings and I've got older siblings. I have an older brother named Kevin. We're very different. He's very much so an introspective human being. He looks inward for everything. It's almost as if he gets trapped in his own thoughts from time to time. So I grew up having him there, always thinking a lot, being fucking 13, but being into random religions, like theological texts that no 13-year-old should fucking be reading.
Or maybe every 13-year-old should be reading.
No, I think no 13-year-old should be reading a theological text. I think 13-year-olds should be reading moral texts that do exist inside theology. But I don't think the theological aspect has to be there.
Okay.
But that's my opinion. But I grew up with him. Always talking to me, always fucking telling me things. I leached onto it. I really sucked into it. So I kind of have learned everything that's been fundamental to who I became while growing up from my brother. I learned it coming downwards. So, I mean, of course, I learned with a bias because I got his opinion, his perspective, whatever he got, secondhand knowledge.
Wait, so was he into Taoism first?
Yes, very much so. But it's not so much that he's into every philosophy, ran through philosophies, never took a particular liking to any of them. But I likened myself to the ideas of Taoism because I can't say from a young age because when I get to it, it won't make a lot of sense. But from like my late teens, I really got into the idea of nostalgia. And not nostalgia as in much as childhood wonder, that idea of things being so big and so amazing you just can't quite understand. I have a very analytical mind, a very scientific mind. I attack things and I fucking think, like, I attempt to figure them out to their core. I want to know why things happen, and then from why, how. But you kind of lose the ability as you get older to fucking look at something and truly just get lost in the wonder of its size, its scope, its scale, its everything. You kind of lose the childhood innocence of shit being magic. That Disney feeling where you're at Disneyland and you're just like, holy fuck, this place is amazing. Disneyland's still cool to us, but it's not, we don't go there going like, holy fuck, do you see this place? How did they get those elephants over there? Are those are elephants. It's a small world? Goddamn right it's a small world. Do you see that world? It's tiny. I circled it in a boat.
That's right.
But like I'm fucking very into that, and I'm also into the idea, which doesn't really feed into Taoism as much, of that when you look back on memories, which is where the nostalgia comes back. It comes back to how it kind of is a rose-colored glasses, kind of put it on a pedestal, take away the negative, and it becomes a magical moment where sensations, sights, anything like everything becomes a blur.
But that's only if you project it that way.
Very true.
Right.
You can also project it in a very, very fucking... shouldn't curse so much. This is your show, not mine.
Curse if you need to curse, man.
Fair enough. No, but it's... The other part of that is that I hate the fact that the idea that, like, you don't know you're in the good old days until the good old days are gone. I want to feel that same feeling where I look back on a memory all the fucking time, and that same idea of, like, wonder, where I'm not thinking about where the lights that are up came from. It's just that the lights were there, and they fucking added to it.
Let me stop you right there. So you know that if you're really trying to embrace, this Taoist way of life, because I won't even say that it's a philosophy. It's more.
It is
like,
a way of life, and I'm not the slightest, but I do take a likening to it. Yes.
Okay, so you take a likening to it. So what I was saying about if you were trying to walk that way of life, then even the idea of nostalgia is pretty jacked up. Because you're no longer in the moment, which is the whole point.
Exactly. Which is why I said a little away from the Taoist philosophy. Yeah. But no, I completely agree. But that's why I dig Taoism, is because the closer you can get to true happiness is not thinking about the past. This is a really weird reference to bring up, but if
let's hear it.
Did you ever see the movie Hit and Run? You probably didn't. People did. It's on Netflix.
I don't really remember movie names or actors' names.
Okay.
So
did you ever see any episodes of Punk'd?
Nah.
With Ashton Kutcher? Nah, it's definitely not your kind of show. That's my dumbass kind of show. Okay.
Wait, tell me about it.
All right, so Hit and Run. No, I'm going to tell you about Hit and Run. Hit and Run's a good movie. It doesn't matter anything about it, except for the fact that the guy that wrote it and is the fucking star of it.
Yeah.
And he's starring in it with his wife. Or not wife, I think they're boyfriend, girlfriend, but they've been together for like 10 years. Wow. So it's Kristen Bell and Dak Shepard. Kristen Bell's on like House of Lies with Don Cheadle and shit. She was Veronica Mars. Very, very fucking... Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She was Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress.
Phenomenal actress, very gorgeous, but also really likable. Like, really kind of makes you feel kind of safe as a dude when you're watching her on screen. Because you're like, if that was my girlfriend, she's so sweet. Whatever. But you really see the chemistry between these two characters.
Yeah.
They're because they're together in the film. But they're actually together in life, and they're truly in love with each other. You can fucking see it on their faces when they're acting. It's not like seeing other people acting towards it. Yeah. They fucking love each other. And that blew my mind. But there's a scene where they're laying together in bed, and she has to go to some big interview or whatever, because she's a teacher. She's getting a new job. All right. Or something like that. He's tells her to close her eyes and take 3 deep breaths. And as she's breathing, he goes, "You're not late for anything. You're not missing anything. You are exactly who you are, or who you are supposed to be, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. And everything is wonderful." Or something like that. And I'm always freaking the fuck out with my job because I work for my dad and shit, or my stepdad. So I'm always freaking out because there's not just a level of like I want to perform well at my work, but it's also a level of like making my father proud.
Yeah,
which is a thing for me. That's a fucking.
I think that many people have that. It's not something strange.
Big thing for me to roll over, but he's a very hard. Doesn't show emotion and shit like that. So it's really hard for him to project any pride or like say good job or anything like that. Like I don't get that. So. That's a big thing for me is like I'm freaking out about work every night when I get home. I can never just sit back and enjoy the moment I live in.
So when do you do the thing that Dax said?
Exactly. Nice. You fucking pulled his name that fast? Most people wouldn't. You're super smart. But yeah, regardless. I fucking, that is the idea of Taoism to me, is that I can be happy right now because you know what? Yeah, fucking maybe shit's going to happen tomorrow, but tomorrow does not exist yet. It doesn't. I am right now and right here, and I can't let something that doesn't exist dictate my emotion.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think I encountered Taoism around the same time, but for me, I wanted so deeply to be able to walk that path and walk that way of life. You know, even as a kid, I had experienced a lot of racism and a lot of prejudice, so I really wasn't interested in playing other people's games, playing someone else's game where I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah.
So I was accused ever since I was a kid of being angry, of being aggressive. And because of how people kept labeling me, I was like, man, fuck you guys. I'll be angry then. So I started getting this anxious anger in my belly. And that's when I started listening to punk rock and hanging out with, the homie Vince. The king of the crusties.
Yeah,
king of the crusty punk rock kids. Yeah.
I can smell him in my memories right now.
He didn't take a shower for 3 years.
I know he didn't.
I mean, and I was best friends with him.
I sat next to him in classes all 3 of those years.
I am so sorry, my friend. I am so sorry. You were
he wore the same clothes.
He lived it. He was one of the 5 people I know who got screwed just being around him.
Yeah, he is one of the most hardcore people I know.
Yeah, it's. Truly. So around that time, I encountered Taoism, and it was actually in school. I never tried in school, but I have a
you succeeded,
sponge.
motherfucker.
I'm a brain sponge.
No, and you're an overachiever. Shut up.
But I didn't.
You're
a teacher,
Menelik.
I'm a teacher now, but that's because I hated school. I hated the way schools were set up.
No, I hated school, Menelik. I'm a fucking locksmith, and I talk to people.
But that's why I'm trying to remake schools.
See, now you're just a better man than me. That's what that is.
Hold the compliments.
Okay.
Until I at least do something.
All right.
But what I was saying is, I encountered it at the time where I was trying to find my Tao.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but when I was in school, someone told me in Chinese, follow your own Tao is like a Dao Bu Dao. So and at the time I was trying to find my Tao. I was trying to find my way of life, and I was reading the Taoist the Tao Te Ching, which is the platform of the Taoist practice.
The theological text of a Taoism.
Well, it's not even really a theological text.
The closest thing.
No, because the closest thing would actually be the Zhuangzi, which we talked about a moment ago.
You're right.
But the Tao Te Ching is really a letter. Mm-hmm. It's a letter to a ruler, a letter to a king, saying, look, I taught Confucius. Confucius was one of my students, and he wasn't a very good student. He did not understand the way. He did not understand what the Tao truly meant. And that's why he's telling you to become all, what we would call legalistic, highly structured and highly ritualized. But that's not the Tao. That's not the true Tao.
Yeah.
Just like he was saying, an over-sharpened sword is brittle.
Yeah.
And a dull sword doesn't cut. It's like this was the master, the grand master, trying to share with us, the wisdom, and saying that his disciple did not know what was going on, and that no one can really tell you what's going on. You need to have a realization about what's going on.
Only you can truly figure it out. You simply have people to guide you along the way.
Exactly.
People that are simply further along the path than you are, and that is also your job for people that are simply a little bit behind you on the path.
I try to adopt this. For years I was like, I'm gonna, and the way it's really interpreted, especially in Western society, because of the dialectic between the Puritan and the Dionysian Dionysian bacchanalia of everyone just partying all heavy or following rules very strictly.
Yeah.
And the way it was interpreted was this almost nihilistic way to walk, you know, where you are doing exactly what you want to do at all times, exactly what your heart's telling you to do at all times. And there's a story about the great master Lao Tzu, who wrote, or who's said to have authored the Tao Te Ching, and it says, you know, one of his favorite disciples passed away one day, and he was distraught. You know, everyone was distraught. All of his disciples' followers, they prayed for 15 days or something like that, and then they went to his grave and did these rituals. You know, in the middle of the rituals, Lao Tzu shows up and he's drunk off his ass, and he has like the equivalent of a Chinese banjo, and he just walks into the procession like, la la la, I'm so sad. He's dead, man. He's dead.
I wish you guys
that
could
was
see
the
the
homie,
face Menelik
man.
is making right now.
Ding, 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 ding. That was the homie. And he was like, all right,
As one does at a funeral procession.
peace out, homies. And then he leaves, you know, and that was how he processed and mourned his friend.
Yeah.
And that's how I thought, okay, well, then, you know, if I want to fuck shit up right now, I'm gonna fuck shit up. Ultra violence, let's make it happen right now. You know, I don't care about you, don't care about that. So I started kicking in doors, started, you know, really embracing the aesthetic of the punk rock culture. You know, I had my cut, you know, my leather vest and my leather jacket, my leather vest, my jean jacket. I had my cuts, you know, with patches on it.
Yeah.
You know, the whole nines. But
Yeah, you got down with it.
I got down with it, you know, and I was living that life. I was walking that path, but that still wasn't my Tao.
Yeah.
It still wasn't my Tao.
You hadn't found your Tao yet. You don't fucking find out about the Tao and then go like, oh, well, cool, I'm just going to go pick up my Tao really quick.
Exactly.
You got to find the Tao, sir.
You know, Tao Bu Tao. It took me some time to really find my Tao, but I ended up going back to Taoist philosophy. You know, and you know, I shared on the beard that, you know, my family's Rastafari, and also in our culture, in our quote unquote faith, you know, and I'm more of the non-religious type and anything else. It's culture and daily practice, life-based, in my opinion. That it's the same way of life, and that way of life was fundamentally intriguing to me. So I ended up, you know, starting to get my life together and starting to really give my time and my heart to others during the process of trying to find my Tao. And one of my peers who also helped train me, his name is James, and he's the big homie, you know.
Yeah.
He's Seafood James, man. This guy.
Seafood James?
Seafood James.
Why do you call him Seafood James?
I call him Seafood James because he is a trainer of Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee's martial arts style.
Yeah.
He's also
Fast hands.
Yeah, he also is the truest Taoist I've ever encountered.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That doesn't make any sense. That's why you call him seafood.
Sifu.
Oh, I think that's seafood.
Nah, dude.
When you said trainer, I was like, trainer of dolphins.
I hope it doesn't
You're worse than SeaWorld.
Has he seen Blackfish?
Seafood Joe?
Has he seen Blackfish?
Oh
He's gonna
God.
get himself eaten. No, so
He's gonna get fucked up. That's hysterical.
Sifu
Okay,
means
I apologize. That was my
means
bad.
teacher.
Yeah.
Master.
Okay.
You know, and you know, when you're talking about martial arts, when you're talking about the type of movement, and at the end of one of our trainings, you know, after like one of our first conversations we started talking about the Tao, and like that like linked us for life. Like he's still my main homie, you know. I just hung out with him last weekend, you know.
Like
and,
Drake and corn dogs.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I don't know who corn dogs is, but yes.
No, it was me and Drake. Me and Lee bonded over corn dogs.
Oh. Yeah, man.
Same thing. You and
Yeah.
Taoism.
Food,
James.
Taoism,
Seafood James.
One feeds the body, the feeds the Tao.
Yeah,
Feeds it
true
over Tao
story.
you're walking.
True, corn dogs are my Tao.
You found it.
Yeah, corn dogs. Dude. You'll never experience it because you're fucking vegan.
I know, man.
You
But
suck.
you know, I'm cool
You
with it.
fucking organic kettle cooked. Oh, those are just chips.
I prefer crunchy.
I was talking shit
The other way
about
is-
normal
is,
chips.
Oh, wait, so
Please continue.
He ended up getting me this book as a present called The Tao of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh?
The Tao of Pooh.
As in,
Winnie the Pooh.
oh, I think it was feces.
Oh,
so
no,
like,
thank God, no.
okay, so like Christopher Robinson
Yes.
or Christopher Robbins. What
I
is
have
it?
no idea. I didn't really pay attention to
Christopher
to
Robin.
Pooh.
Christopher Robin.
Sure.
I never watched Winnie the Pooh. I think I've seen one episode my
Dude,
whole life.
It never interested me.
Yeah, well, who gives a shit about the Pooh?
Why isn't the bear wearing pants?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't
It's
make
actually
any
really
sense,
fucking creepy.
right?
Yeah.
It's so creepy. Why is he after the honey?
And why were they watching that instead of Batman? Because Batman
Batman's
Beyond
awesome.
was on at the same time.
Oh my god, I love Batman Beyond.
That was the
Wait,
fucking
wait.
shit. All right, no,
getting
get back
sidetracked.
to your shit.
Okay, so
I'm not
the
talking
Tao of
about
Pooh.
Batman.
So the Tao of Pooh is this crazy, really interesting book about the Tao, talking about how using Winnie the Pooh as a metaphor to understand the Tao.
Really?
Yes,
That's really interesting. I'd like to take a look at that. That's crazy.
it's one of my favorite books. I still have it on my shelf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kept it? It's a
Of
wall
course,
book?
man. Yeah, it's a
That's
wall
awesome.
book. You know, it has like his message on the inside, like.
Oh, you got the inscription.
Got the
You
inscription.
win.
Yep.
You win.
So
You can keep
the
that forever.
Tao of Pooh, one of the reasons why he used Pooh as a platform to talk about the Tao is because in the Taoist practice, there's this idea called Pooh, or it's written in English as Pu, or Pu with a little bar, like a little unibrow on top
Yeah,
of
I've
the U.
seen it. Yeah.
And Pooh is the uncarved block. You're talking before. I forget what you were saying. Nostalgia. Nostalgia.
Yeah,
and
what
like,
about it?
Like, well, you weren't actually talking about nostalgia. You're saying
No, I was talking about childhood innocence, the wonder.
childhood innocence.
The wonder of just looking around and not comprehending but enjoying. Benevolent thought.
And taking everything and you know that's exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's exactly the theory of the uncarved block. That when we strive so hard to carve ourselves from a block that is untouched, you know, into something else, whether it's for ourselves or for ideas or for experiences, we then miss the moment and miss on what the actual Tao is pushing us to do. Right, and that's where the this idea of wu wei, or action through inaction, comes from.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember this scene explicitly from the book. It's like they're all chilling on a bridge, and one of them falls into the river. I think it was Tigger. And
Okay.
he's like barely holding on. He's holding on to like a rock, and it's like, if we don't save him right now, he's done. Forever. Like, Tigger, goodbye. You know.
I don't even care. Fuck him.
So all the characters, they go rush off to do their own to do their plans, right?
Yeah, to fix it, to save them.
Yeah. So one, I think it was the rabbit. He's like, "There's a rope at the house. I'm gonna go run to the house and bring the rope back."
That's not smart.
It's not smart at all, right?
He's gonna get so tired, man.
But that's the plan, right? So he's trying to go. He goes all the way to the house, and of course he gets tired halfway. And if we would have waited for him, everyone would be dead. Right?
Yeah.
Then someone else, they have some other crackpot plan. Doesn't work.
Gonna cut down a tree. Use it as a bridge.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's the next one.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
I'm gonna cut down the tree. The tree's gonna save him. Pooh, he's just like, oh well, you know, there's that big rock right there next to the ledge. If I push it over, I'm sure the ripple will push Tigger to the shore. Does it? Plop. Water spreads. Tigger gets pushed ashore. Bam. That was the action through inaction. The path of least resistance that made the most sense to continue on your path.
That was logical solution.
It was logical, but everyone else was so stuck in their own, you know, processes and trying to analyze things and trying to plan for things that you know haven't even happened yet, that they're not even seeing that the solution's right in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's the uncarved
It's
block.
present. Yeah.
Literally,
that.
with every
I fucking love
with
that.
every scrape that you scrape off of it, you're making it more uncarved, being more open to the moment. And I didn't really fully understand that until, you know, I was.
That's
until
fucking
a couple years ago.
great, dude. That is awesome. I have to take a look at that book. What's it called?
The Tao of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta fucking check that
But
out.
that's the
Is it
foundation, man.
spelled Pooh as in P-O-H?
Yeah, character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has a picture of Pooh holding like a balloon.
Okay, I definitely gotta fucking
Yeah,
check
man.
that out. That sounds
Super easy
great.
to find.
That sounds great. That sounds absolutely wonderful.
But the crazy thing about that is that is the essence of the Tao. And so the Tao,
It is.
literally, your Tao is different from my Tao.
Yeah.
And our Taos are not going to both be this nihilistic whim of, fuck everything, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Because that's not actually the Tao. If I would have done that, if I would have continued on the same path that I was on, you know, as a punk rock youth, that I would have lived my life denying my own consciousness, denying my own conscience.
Yeah, and no. And that's not... Sorry, that blows my mind. Like, it never even popped into my head to think, like, what if I were to be, like, a punk rock douche? Like, it's only ever occurred to me, like, I only really want to be nice to people and shit. Like, I think that's why I'm kind of drawn to it, is, like, I really have no feeling one way or the other, and so my immediate reaction is, like, hey, man, I live in this world, and it's pretty difficult, and you live in this world, and I'm pretty sure it's just as difficult for you, if not worse. Why don't we just help each other get through this?
Like let's synergy.
Yeah, fuck it. Like, let's work together, bud. Like, we don't have to hate each other just because we dress different or something.
It takes so much energy to hate.
It does. Like, and to fucking label yourself, to subscribe to something like, I'm fucking punk rock, and guess what? I'm pissed off.
And now I'm not gonna listen to other music.
Yeah,
if
what
I
the
listen to
fuck?
anything
Why would you
besides
do
punk
that?
rock, that's not punk rock.
That's dumb. There's so much good music in the world.
Yeah, man.
And the fucking look, when you stop hating people, there are so many cool cats in the world you can talk to from different ways of life that just have a unique fucking perspective you never get to hear anywhere else. That have been through some shit you'll never experience. People you can learn from that no one else will listen to. My God, like, how could you fucking be hateful in a world? Like, that's the reason I dig Taoism, is it's not just innocence of a moment, but it's actually, it's just fucking innocence of a moment. It's never deviance. It's just this, I'm gonna enjoy this because I'm a benevolent force in this universe, and I expect the same from everyone else. And it really sucks because shitty things happen to those people. They get fucking... I'll probably get ass raped in an alley one day because some guy's like, hey, can I come show you my dumpster? And I'm like, I would fucking love to see your dumpster.
Whoa. Hold on. Breathe in.
That's what he said.
You're in the right place.
Yeah, fuck you.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
That's not nice. You're mean. I apologize to all the listeners out there. You're getting a little taste of the beard inside of a better place.
Which is also what she said.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's so good. That's great. Oh my God.
Please don't tell my students I said that.
I won't. That's why we're not naming the name of your school, sir.
Oh, okay. Speaking of students, okay, so...
Yeah, students.
Man, it's so rough because I'm still trying to change my students' minds about the hate and bullshit that they've already digested.
Yeah.
That if they don't throw up, it's gonna be stuck. It's gonna be stuck in their system for a long time.
Yeah, it's part of their foundation.
Yeah, man. I started off the year like, hey, you guys are my little brothers and sisters. You're my family. I'm gonna treat you as such. Sometimes you're gonna be angry with me. Sometimes you're not gonna receive my quote unquote approval. But whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna minimize your need for my approval and maximize your ability to do this for yourself. Because that's what family really does.
Dude, I don't know 23-year-olds that would comprehend what you just said. I get it. I know what you're saying. But, like, there are a lot of 23-year-olds that wouldn't keep up with that. You need to dumb it down for these fucking middle schoolers.
We're family. That's it, man.
Yeah, we're
That's
family.
it.
I'm going to be a dick sometimes.
but we're all
bros.
learn together. we're all going to learn together. You're going to give me feedback.
And I'm going to get
feedback.
you to do this shit by yourself.
That's what you want, right? You don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
You want to just know this. So just work with me, man.
You just want to play Grand Theft Auto all day. Just listen to me. You'll make money, motherfucker. No, I'm
But
kidding.
more than that.
Yeah,
more than that. You'll create a better place.
Look at that. Look at you pulling a full fucking circle. The
Do
fucking
what I
natural
do.
born host
Do what I
over
do.
here. Mr. Menelik Tafari killing it on the fucking mic. You might as well just pick that fucking mic up off the stand and drop it as you walk out of my house.
Boom.
Boom. That's you right there.
That just happened.
It did.
That just happened. Well, before we sign off, because it's getting about that time, I wanted to share something that one of my students handed to me today. And,
go for it. What's up?
It created some warmth, for me as I was walking through a very chilly day. It's the value of a smile. A smile costs nothing, but gives much. It reaches those who receive without making poorer those who give. It takes but a moment, but the memory sometimes lasts a lifetime. None is so rich or mighty that he can get along without it, and no one is so poor but that he cannot be made richer by it. A smile creates happiness in the home, fosters goodwill in business, and is the countersign of friendship. It brings rest to the weary, cheer to the discouraged. A smile is sunshine to the sad, and is nature's best antidote for trouble. Yet, it can't be bought, begged, or borrowed, or stolen, for it has no value to anyone until given away. Some people are too tired to give you a smile, so give them one of yours, as no one needs a smile as much as he who has no more to give. Alright guys, so I hope that you have enjoyed this better place.
I certainly have. I've enjoyed. Thank you for having me.
I hope that you remember to walk with a smile, because a smile can warm even the coldest hearts. And make sure to tune in next week. Same time, same place. A better place.